Hello, my paranormal peeps, and welcome back to another Deep Woods Paranormal Podcast. My name is Matt Harvey. I am the founder and lead investigator with Deep Woods Paranormal. I am also the host of the Deep Woods Paranormal Podcast. So today we're going to talk about the monster in my backyard. Yeah, believe it or not, there's actually some kind of monster or monsters in my backyard. What it is, I don't know. I can't tell you for sure what it is. I've seen some very strange things going on back there, and let me talk to you about it. Okay? So, about 8 months ago, I put up cameras around the backyard to watch my chickens because something kept messing with my chickens. So, I was wondering if it was a predatory animal, a fox, maybe a coyote, I don't know if it was a wolf, but there was something out here. Nothing was digging underneath it, trying to get under the coop or anything. But there was definitely something out there. And my dogs were freaking out at night when they go out at 10 o'clock midnight, 1, 2 o'clock, just barking their heads off. So one night, I'm out there and I'm walking down to the coop, and I just felt like I was being watched. And I'm like, okay, this is a familiar feeling when you're out in the forest and you're looking around. You're like, I know there's something there, but I can't put my finger on what it is or where it is. So I'm looking around and I'm going, okay, where is this thing? What's going on? So I look up, and behind my house, let me describe what my house, basically behind my house we have a forest. There's the school. And then behind the school, there's actually a track where people walk, and there's a walking path out to it. And then there's a line of trees that goes right next to it. And beautiful, really beautiful. And behind that is a very large area of forest. It's at least 1,000 acres or more. In my area, we are surrounded pretty much by forest. We're not in the forest, but we're surrounded by it. And then, of course, there's farms and stuff. They've unfortunately clear-cut a lot of the forest around here, but there's patches of forest. So I'm walking out there, and I'm just feeling like I'm being watched. And I just gotten the last chicken in. I have my floodlights on because if I don't have the floodlights on, it's dark as hell. And honestly, you feel like you're in a damn scary movie. As a paranormal investigator, you're going, okay, Matt, you shouldn't be afraid of that. But it's creepy as hell. I mean, it's scary. Those woods are scary for sure. And so I'm looking around. I'm going, okay, I don't see anything. And all of a sudden I see movement. And as I'm looking out there, I just see these pair of yellow eyes. And I'm like, what is that? And immediately my mind's racing. Uh-oh. Dogman. Bigfoot. And I'm like, okay. It was fairly large. All I could see was a black silhouette. And it was standing probably about 20 feet away from the forest. Now, this is about 100 and some odd feet away from me. My fence basically goes, there's a berm at the top of my backyard, and then it goes down to this area where they have the overflow for the rain, because we do get flooding here and stuff like that. So, as I'm standing there looking down into the culvert, I'm seeing this thing just staring at me. I'm like, what? And so I grabbed my flashlight and I shined it on it. And this thing did not like that. It looked away. And then I saw movement to this thing's right. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what is that? So in that tree line, between the path and between me and the path that is right next to the walking track, something had been holding a branch down. And I looked over and I go, okay, what was that? And it let go of it. That's the only reason I saw it. I saw it back away. Kind of like if you were, watching somebody from the woods and you were holding a branch down to kind of clear your view, and then, I got caught. And then you let go of the branch and you back away, like you're not really there. That's kind of what this did. So I'm like, okay, there's just some people out there, but I couldn't get over the yellow eyes. I was like, what is that thing with the yellow eyes? I've never seen anything like that. So this continued. So I chalked this up to possibly a couple of people being out there. I had my floodlights on, which can reach basically light up all the way out to that forest out there. They're pretty damn bright. And so as I'm sitting there looking out, this thing takes a step and turns its upper shoulders and kind of glares at me, and then basically just took 2 steps and disappeared. And it probably covered 30 feet. So I'm like, okay, that reminds me of a Bigfoot. I'm like, okay, that's totally Bigfoot movement. And so I have cameras out there now, and the camera, I went back to look at the camera, and they're IR cameras, night vision cameras, not for paranormal research, unfortunately. They're just to keep an eye on my coop, my chickens, so that if anything messes with chickens, I can see what's going on out there and see what it was and stuff like that. We've had a series of strange things happen out there. Something unknown is coming out of the forest and creeping around my backyard, literally creeping around my backyard. One video I saw, I was out there, I never saw it, but there was something almost like peeking over the fence at me one night as I was essentially putting the chickens away. And that fence is over 6 feet tall. It's maybe 6'2", 6'3", and you can see shoulders and a head, and it's wide. I went out there and looked at it. I'm about maybe 3 fence boards wide. This thing was like 4 or 5, maybe 6. So it was almost double my width. And it was at least a foot or more taller than I was. And I don't know if it was standing right against the fence, because when it slopes down further, so it's probably about a foot deeper down there. And so you're looking at maybe something that was 8 feet tall, or if it was standing even further back in the culvert and actually standing back at the bottom of the culvert, it could have been 9 or 10 feet tall. So I review the footage, and I'm like, what the heck is that? I'm like, okay, I got something here, but it's not very clear. So a couple weeks goes by, and I get up to go to the bathroom. And in the middle of the night, I can see out one of our windows in our living room that faces that area towards the chicken coop. And I just see these eyes looking through the window. I'm like, what the hell? Just a silhouette. I thought somebody was in our yard. I immediately glanced around at the cameras. Nothing. None have not been set off. So I'm like, what is going on? And I carefully looked out every window over there, listened, didn't hear anything. And I finally went ahead. I kept the dogs inside because I didn't want them going out, especially if it was some kind of monster, which I believe it is. People call Bigfoots and Dogman monsters. So I'm looking around, trying to figure out what this unknown creature is coming out of the forest. The deep, dark, scary forest at night, right? Because you go out there, and now I have to keep the floodlights off, because the chickens think it's daytime still, and they think, oh, hey, we can still roam. We can still stay out and have fun. We can do our eating and whatever else we're doing during the day. So I have to go out there, and they've gotten smart. They've gotten used to me going out there at night at certain times. So they hang out right by the fence, right where I have to go get them back into their coop. And they start running around the yard. I'm chasing around in the dark trying to pick up. Oh, I got a Binks coming up my way. I got a kitty coming across. Anyways, so yeah, I have to chase these birds back in there if the light's on. And so I keep it off so that they will stay in their coop when I go out there to close it up for the night. I don't believe in the automated system because I'm afraid these chickens, some of these chickens are not the smartest. If they had an automated coop, they would get killed by this thing, I guarantee you. Oh, there he goes. But yeah, so the more I've had so many experiences with these things. So the more I started talking to my neighbor about it. I'm like, have you had anything strange happen to the neighbor right next to us? We live in a cul-de-sac. He's like, yeah, I've heard something like digging behind my house. Something digging in the dirt, like it's almost trying to dig underneath the fence, and some growls and stuff like that. I'm like, have you heard any tree knocks? Have you heard any screams? Have you heard anything else? And he's like, no. And his son is about 5. He goes, I've seen the things with yellow eyes back there too. I'm like, oh, okay, so somebody else has seen it. And I guess they went to explore the forest behind the house and stopped and turned around and came back because it was just creepy, the creepy forest. He's like, this guy is like Rambo. And he said, I didn't feel comfortable going into this forest. So, anyways, time goes on, another month goes by, and I get another video, right? I've got the one camera basically facing the backyard, so I can see most of the side yard. Our biggest part of our yard is actually our side yard, on the left side of the house, if you're looking straight at it. That looks over the culvert, down into the forest. I've got another camera on the fence, so that if anybody comes walking in, again, facing the chickens, if anything comes up over in that direction, I should be able to see it, right? I'm looking for predators to make sure that they're safe. And it will trigger me and wake me up in the middle of the night. If it starts going off, I know there's something out there. I need to go out there and chase it off. Something literally puts its hand over the fence, and you can hear some kind of, it sounds like somebody's just trying to get the lock open on the fence, right? They're trying to get the gate open. And you just see a hand like appear, a furry hand appear. Now, take this with a grain of salt. The reason I haven't shown any of this to you guys or put any videos out with this, number one, I'm planning on doing a Bigfoot expedition back there now. And I have a lot of plans to leave trap cams up. I don't know if I'm going to leave them in the forest. I have to find out. I have to go explore the creepy forest, of course, and see if these creatures, number one, are still here. These unknown creatures. I need to go see if Binks. Okay, Binks. He's like, get out of my office. It's my turn. My turn to be in here. But anyways, so I'm going to go back there and I'm going to do a whole expedition. Again, exploring the unknown will be coming back. I've talked about this many times. I've got a lot of stuff going on. Things that keep changing on me. I wasn't happy with the filming of it and whatever else. So we're going to be doing that again. We're going to start over, and we're going to put out a much better product this time. But anyways, you guys will get to see that in the future. So I've also heard, when I listen to the cameras, I hear this weird, like, guttural growls. And it's like, and I'm like, what is that? So I'm going live on these cameras, and I'm not here. I'm at work or whatever, or I'm in the bedroom. I'm like, what is that noise? And so I record it, and I'm trying to figure it out. So I go to the next camera over, and this is the one facing the actual forest, right? So I go to the camera next to it, looking at the coop, and I don't hear the noise. And so I go to the next camera over, and I'm not hearing the noise. I'm like, where is this? This is only showing up on this camera. And I'm like, is this a ghost? Or is it something else? Is there something out there? And it's just so creepy to hear this whatever it is. And so I start recording it, and I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. So my plan from here on out is, number one, to keep monitoring the cameras. See if I can get a better video or picture or something of whatever this is. Because something's been getting around in my backyard, and I have a small little garden. Been messing with my garden, right? Stealing all the berries off my trees without damaging the bushes, which is weird. All the grapes, all the blueberries are gone. All the strawberries are gone. Something put a weird hole in my cantaloupe. You know, if you grab a normal sized cantaloupe, it was pretty much almost ripe. Something literally put a perfect hole through the middle of this cantaloupe, all the way through from one side to another. I'm like, why did it do that? Now, some of you are listening and you're going, okay, I know exactly what that is. Feel free to comment down below. Has that happened to you before? Have you ever grown cantaloupe and come back to find it a hole through the middle of it? I mean, this was up off the ground. It wasn't on the ground. It was up. It was being held up on purpose so that things wouldn't mess with it. It was too big for the birds to get, I think. But again, my grapes too. My blueberries were up, and then I've had things knocked over, and I've got a camera out there. I've got a camera in the garden now, facing the garden, and it just doesn't make any sense. How is that being knocked over but not being captured on camera? It makes no sense. Like I said, it's just strange stuff going on. So my plan is to maybe set up a blind in the backyard, put a camera out there, make sure, just let it run, I guess. Trap cams. I'm going to set up some trap cams in strategic locations, try and hide them. I don't know if I have a Bigfoot coming into the yard and just grabbing whatever it can eat, or if it's some other predatory animal, or it's just some kind of animal. And, if it wasn't a combination of all this stuff, I wouldn't be thinking this. But I'm trying to eliminate what is going on. I might leave some fruit and vegetables out, like an offering in an area, and see in a clear area, hide a camera somewhere, and see if I can capture whatever it is coming in and stealing all this fruit and vegetables from my garden. So, again, is it a Dogman? Is it Bigfoot? Is it some other unknown cryptid creature? I have no idea. It's definitely bipedal. It's not on all fours, so it's not a bear. Could it be a person? Maybe. But they'd have a hard time getting into my backyard unless they're climbing the fence somehow, and I'm not seeing them, and the cameras aren't capturing them. I know there's more than one, because I've seen two multiple times. I've seen those yellow eyes multiple times, and like I said, I woke up that one morning and I looked out in my back through my living room window, and there's these yellow eyes looking in at me, and scared the living crap out of me. I know I'm a paranormal investigator, but that was still creepy as hell. There's just a silhouette with. I grabbed my my protection device, and I immediately started walking towards the window, and it disappeared. Nothing went over a fence because the cameras weren't triggered. I don't know where this thing went. Who knows what happened to it? But I essentially checked all the cameras, and I left the dogs inside because whatever this was, I didn't want them messing with the dogs. And so I left the dogs inside, and I carefully went out with a flashlight, and I felt like I was right in a horror movie. I was just waiting for something to come out of the dark and grab me. But yeah, talking about scary crap. Yeah, that scared me a little bit. I could feel something there with me. I just couldn't see it. I couldn't find it. So I don't know what that was. If you guys have had something similar happen to you, please help me out. Comment down below and tell me what happened to you, or message me, or whatever. All of our socials are down below. Again, my cell number's below too on our website, so you can contact us through our website, Facebook, whatever. Let me know what happened to you. If you're on one of the podcasts, if you're listening to our podcast, unfortunately, sometimes if you guys leave messages or whatever, leave comments, we don't always see them. We're on over 60 platforms now. I keep finding out that we're on different platforms. So, anyways, whatever this is, it's got to be 8+ feet tall. It's double my shoulders. It's at least 5-6 feet wide, and there might be more than one of them. I'm going to go into the forest, like I said, one of these days during the day, and document it, and take a look around, see if I can find footprints, see if I can find some kind of structures, maybe a teepee, maybe some blinds, maybe some tree bends, anything that points to maybe a Bigfoot. I don't know if Dogman do the same kind of things. I know that Dogman have been known to leave scratches on trees, rip all the bark off. Of course, bears and stuff do that too, but we don't really have any bears in this area that I know of. There are reports of Dogman in this area. Lake Bryan have a lot of reports of Dogman. I have Bigfoot sightings in and around my area. My work, 15 miles away, just down the road. There's been several Bigfoot sightings in that area. College Station, I got a report of not a Dogman, a Bigfoot that was consistently coming in and not doing anything bad, just coming onto this farm. There's a lot of farmland around us. Again, there's forest, farmland. It's kind of urban out here. It's country. So, I mean, essentially whatever it was came in, and this lady told me she saw a Bigfoot. And it was very friendly. And we came in, she left offerings for it and stuff like that. So I'm almost wondering if it's a juvenile Bigfoot or multiple juvenile Bigfoots that maybe are hiding out in the forest. We've got every animal known to man out here. We have, that could be a food source. There's there's several rivers that run in the forest behind my house. There is deer. There is jaguarundi. There is raccoons, possums, and every other kind of creature back there. There's rabbits and stuff like that, deer, hogs. So there's definitely food source back there for them if they're there. Let me just make sure I got all my notes captured. So yeah, this definitely needs further exploration. It's going to take me a couple of months to get everything to the point where I can hopefully share something with you guys. It's very hard to document Bigfoots. They are very smart. They know, and I'm assuming, but I've never had to my knowledge, I've never had a run-in with a Dogman, but it's very possible I did. We found possible Dogman prints up at Joe's camp. So we might not have been dealing with only Bigfoots up there. We could have been dealing with Dogman as well. Or it could be some other cryptid. Who knows what it is? I mean, who knows what this could be? It's definitely some kind of, like I said, some kind of monster in the forest behind my house. So, yeah, I mean, the neighbor, he reported to me one night he heard something like clawing and scratching into the dirt behind his house. And he heard it grunting and growling, and he went out there, and it didn't get scared away by him going out there. It continued on, and then by the time he got all the way around to the back area, he found a pretty good sized hole. It was like digging maybe a den or something, and he's a little closer to the walking path than I am. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to put all the clues together here to start to form some kind of hypothesis of what this could be. I'm trying to figure out if it's just people messing around, if it's maybe something else out there. Feel free to comment down below. Have you guys experienced anything like this? We haven't heard any tree knocks that I know of. We've heard gunshots, but not tree knocks. We haven't heard any howls or any whoops or anything like that. So they could be migrating to this area. Maybe they just kind of wandered into this area. Maybe they use the culverts around our house where the river runs. Like I've talked about before, a lot of Bigfoots and other animals will follow the rivers. And we do have a river behind our house. So I'm wondering if maybe it came up the river and was just kind of looking for food, or maybe it found a new spot. Maybe it was just bedding down. Maybe it got interested in what was going on. Maybe it saw the chickens and went, oh, hey, dinner. Now, the neighbors to our right, about 3 homes up on the other street behind us, they lost a couple of chickens. They found some dead chickens out in the culvert. So did the chickens fly up over the fence? That's very possible. Oh my goodness. Look at somebody squeezed a squeeze toy there. Well, that's actually a cat. He's got a really weird screech. Anyways, so yeah, it could be a Bigfoot. That'd be really cool, but I don't know. So yeah, I've got to get out there again and just look for signs and see what's going on. I would like to get back there and do some tree knocks myself, very carefully, so I don't disturb the neighbors. I think if that area back there, it's a very large area. There's no homes. If I get about 100, 200 feet in, I should be clear of the homes and not have an issue with disturbing anybody. And I could probably go back there and just see what's going on, follow the creek a little bit, and do some hiking into there, and maybe even set up there overnight for a night investigation. Come here, buddy. He wants my attention. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, guys. I'm thinking we're going to do a night investigation over there and see what we can find. He's just getting close enough not for me to touch him. And go from there. But we'll keep you guys up to date on what's going on with whatever the hell is in our backyard. We'll definitely be doing more investigations, mainly Bigfoot, but we'll be looking into everything. We'll probably get back into ghost hunting too sooner or later. But yeah, I mean, definitely. This is just crazy, creepy, scary crap. I always used to talk to Joe, and I always used to think to myself, why is he so scared of having something, Bigfoot's in his backyard? But now I kind of feel what he felt. I'm like, okay. It's eerie. When you go out there, it's eerie. It's just this creepy feeling of you're being watched, and you're looking around, you can't see anything back there. It's real simple. If you're up against the tree line, even during the day, if you're in the shade at all, you could be wearing bright color clothes, and you could still blend in with the trees and the shrubs and all the stuff around there. I mean, you could literally hide, and nobody would even know you're there. So, all right, guys. I'll leave you with that. Like I said, if you guys have any thoughts on what this is, again, feel free to comment down below. I'd love to get your take on this. Again, I'm not saying this is or isn't a Bigfoot, but there's definitely something back there. Evidently, Biggs has something to say about it too. Or dude. He wants me to get off the computer now, so I better get out of here before he keeps screaming. But anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys on the next one.